Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding our practice today. My question for you as you begin today is this. Who is your family? How do you define family? I recently had the opportunity to watch a 2-year-old for 5 days as her mother and father gave birth to a newborn. It was such a joy and an honor and a privilege to be with them in this transition, in this time of new beginnings, and so much joy. And I started to think about the way that we as Westerners define family. This daughter is not my biological daughter. I've known her since she was about 7 years old, and for a variety of reasons, her parents cannot step into this role. But she is my daughter, and I am her children's Mimi. There was a time when Jesus was approached because his mother and brothers were asking for him. He was in the midst of a crowd, he was busy, and his mother and brothers were waiting outside. And Jesus' response was this: "Who is my mother? And who are my brothers?" And pointing to his disciples, he said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother." Whoever does the will of my Father in heaven. Jesus has given us a family of believers, a family of saints who can encourage and support and uphold. And I invite you today to consider, who is your family? Who are you a constant for? Who has God provided to support and encourage you? Come to a comfortable seated position, maybe elevating your hips up on a blanket or a block. I invite you to rock a little bit side to side, front to back, and begin to find alignment as you settle into those bones at the base of your hips. Today we're going to open up the muscles of the chest, stretch through the back, release some of the tight muscles of the neck and the shoulder girdle. So for a moment, assess. Where are you holding tension in the neck, upper back, shoulders? Where do you feel a little tight today? Begin to soften those muscles as you find your breath. And I invite you, as you find your breath, to close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. Breathing in and out through the nose. What's the quality of breath as you begin? What's the pace of breath? How deep is it? How three-dimensional is it? As you take these deep inhales today, I invite you to embrace an extended understanding of family. We have so much capacity for love. Take 2 more breaths here, breathing all the way down to that pelvic floor if you can. I invite you to open up your eyes and to bring your hands around your rib cage. I invite you to lightly press on the left side of the ribs, and as you take a deep breath in, can you expand through the right side of the ribs? So if our ribs are stuck, if they don't move freely, we begin to open up, we begin to breathe up into the shoulders and the neck. Can you teach yourself to breathe fully into that rib cage? Go ahead and take your hands down, take a deep breath in, and just notice quality of breath. And I invite you to do the same thing on the other side. So again, just lightly pressing down on that right side, really just visualizing that left rib cage expanding with each breath. Maybe 2 more breaths here. This time as you breathe in, I invite you to bring your arms up and over and into cactus. And draw the shoulders a little bit forward and a little bit back. And then inhale. And as you exhale, what kind of rotation and release can you find in the shoulder girdle? One more breath here. Bring the hands out to the side. Gently round the shoulders forward a little bit as you come into cat. And then rotate those palms down and around and draw the shoulder blades in and together as you find cow. So back and forth here, cat to cow. And again, just thinking about the mobility of the scapula. How freely are the shoulder blades gliding? One more time here, one more breath here, connecting breath and movement. And then as you're ready, gently bring the arms down, pressing into the right arm, bring that left arm up. And up and over, go the other direction. As you reach, can you open up the rib cage? Underneath the shoulder, all the way down towards the hip. And one more time, each direction here. Invite you to come over to the right, that right hand pressing down, that left arm reaching over. Come up off that left sitting bone a little bit and then begin to guide it back down. For a moment, draw that shoulder back as the gaze rises. And then inhaling, draw the belly in a little bit, round the shoulder forward. Can you find a stretch somewhere along that left side in the back? Be intentional about where the gaze is. Maybe you look up. Maybe it's better for you to look down or straight forward. Taking a deep breath in, come up and over, go the other direction. And again, just reach as far as you can and anchor into the sitting bone. Engage the abdominals. Maybe the shoulder comes back as the gaze rises. Maybe you lift up in that right sitting bone a little bit and then settle back in. What does it feel like as you draw the abdominals in and round that shoulder a little bit forward? And where is the gaze? Taking a deep breath in, the arms rise up and overhead. Gently draw the chin down and bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Chin forward, left ear to left shoulder. Back and forth here a few times, noticing tension in the neck. Maybe noticing it all the way through the shoulder girdle or the upper back as well. As you're ready, bring that right ear to the right shoulder. I invite you to make a number 8 with your nose and begin to find that stretch that works best for you. And walk the fingers out a little bit, open up and down the neck. Find breath. As you're ready, gently bring the chin forward. As the head gets heavy, realign the spine, and can you find stretch all the way down to the shoulder blades? On that next inhale, left ear comes to the left shoulder. Again, just creating that number 8 with your nose. Finding the stretch. Noticing and comparing, is it the same on this side as it was on the other side? Where do you feel that? As you're ready, gently, chin comes forward. Deep breath in, arms rise. Exhaling, hands to heart. Once again, just thinking about this language of the church. Father, brother, sister, mother. Who has God provided for you? Who is your family? One more breath here. As you're ready, release. Go ahead and bring any props that you have towards the front of the mat. And I invite you to meet me in table. So fingers spread wide and knees underneath the hips. Go ahead and press through the fingertips, drawing them towards the wrist a little bit, and create a pocket of air in the palm of the hand. Begin to press through the tops of the feet as well, finding strength in this pose. And then exhaling, round the back and round the shoulders forward as the head drops. Cat. And inhaling, rotate those shoulder blades back and open up across the chest and find cow. Again, today, kind of just focusing on those shoulder blades, on the scapula. How easily do they move? Do they glide? Are they stuck? Is the movement a little bit choppy? Does it feel like you're getting a full release? No judgment, simply noticing. How is your body functioning today? One more breath here. I invite you to meet me back in table and strengthen through the arms, eyes of the elbows in towards each other, shoulders a little bit back. And can you keep the arms straight as you begin to drop the body in between the upper arms and lift? So just allow gravity to do the dropping. It's just like there's a tiny cable pulling the chest towards the mat. And then you're rising again. So this is an exercise that can strengthen the serratus muscles, these muscles that are underneath the arms. And they provide support for the shoulder girdle. So 2 more breaths here. Maybe today expanding our understanding of the whole shoulder girdle. As you're ready, I invite you to turn the right fingertips in, sweep the left arm up. Exhaling, wrap the rib cage around the spine, find your twist. Come in and out of this as you thread the needle. And can you connect breath and movement and lead with the breath? As you're ready, right shoulder, head to the mat. Go ahead and bring that left arm out, just above the other arm, parallel to the floor. Draw the shoulder blade forward and back a couple of times, just noticing strength, sensation in the upper back. And then this time as the shoulder blade comes back, let the arm come up. Exhale here, creating a little bit more length in the neck. And maybe you stay here, or maybe that palm turns as the arm sweeps and catches underneath the hips. I invite you to stay here for a couple more breaths, and I invite you to adjust into the pose. Notice that if you move that top shoulder a little bit, it changes the stretch. If you move your head a little bit, it changes the stretch. As you're ready, release, sweep that arm all the way up and over. Bring it back to the shoulder and meet me in table. From table, I invite you to come to child's pose, child to table twice, reconnecting with your breath. And as you're ready, go ahead and turn the left fingertips in, sweep the right arm all the way up, and exhale underneath. So back and forth here 2 more times. Again, how easily and how freely does the rib cage move? As you're ready, let the shoulder and the head rest down on the mat. Reach that left arm all the way across, parallel to the floor. Again, just the shoulder blade forward and back a little bit. And then as you're ready, draw it back. Bring that arm up. Find your breath here, and maybe you stay here, or maybe you turn that palm away from the body and bring it all the way in. And I invite you to find the twist here. Again, adjust with breath. Find those micro adjustments of the body that provide more release. As you're ready, sweep that arm all the way up and over towards the front of the mat, and then slide it underneath the shoulder. Meet me back in table, child to table twice. As you're ready, bring those handprints forward and come to a kneeling plank. So even here in kneeling plank, maybe you round the shoulders just a little bit forward and then draw them around and back. That shoulder blade rotating. Exhale down to the mat. Bring the hands out a little bit wide, elbows over wrists, fingers on the mat, wrists off the mat. Let the shoulders come forward as you come a little bit up off the mat, and then draw those shoulder blades back and find a low cobra. So today, thinking about the upper back, can those shoulders relax? Exhale down. Hands come back to the rib cage. Meet me in table and curling the toes under, draw the knees to the rib cage. Begin to find this first downward facing dog. Shake your head out no and yes. Begin to pedal through your feet. Find length up and down the calves, the hamstrings. Deep breath in, heels rise. Exhaling, bring the heels down towards the mat. Finding downward facing dog, take a deep breath in, and can you push through those serratus muscles that are underneath the arms? And maybe that will provide a little bit more support and strength for the pose. Maybe you externally rotate the shoulders a little bit, and here's an option for you if your shoulders are really tight. Maybe those hands come out a little wider and the first finger points towards that front corner of the mat. Taking a deep breath in, right leg rises high. Gaze forward, foot comes all the way through. I invite you to take that back knee down and up. Begin to open up through the psoas muscle in the front of the hip. As you're ready, go ahead and extend that leg up. Press into the left hand, bring that right arm out. Again, just kind of reaching parallel to the floor, shoulder forward, shoulder back, and then raise that arm all the way up. Find your twist as the rib cage wraps. Exhaling, release. Go ahead and bring the front foot to the back and meet me in plank. From plank, I invite you to come down to the mat. Find your back bend. Come back into table. And curling the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Again, breathing into those arms, pushing those arms forward as you expand through the rib cage. Press the heels a little bit back, finding strength in the legs. On the next inhale, left leg rises high. Gaze forward, bring the foot all the way through, and that back knee taps down and up. And then as you're ready, just raise that back thigh towards the sky. And just press into this right arm, bring that left arm parallel to the floor. And again, can you just draw that shoulder blade forward and back a few times? And then as it comes back, wrap the rib cage around and the arm rises and you find a gentle twist. Find your breath here. Maybe the inner thighs draw in a little bit towards the center of the mat. Exhaling, unwind. Go ahead and bring that front foot to the back. Meet me in plank. Again, coming all the way down to the mat. Finding your back bend of choice. Gliding through table. Tilting those hips, curling those toes, meeting me in downward dog. And shake your head out, knowing yes. On the next inhale, right leg rises high. We're going to bring the foot to the outside of the hand. So gaze forward, bring that right foot towards the outside of the mat, and begin to drop that back knee down and up. So another hip stretch here. As you're ready, drop that back knee to the mat. So finding a stretch in the psoas on the left side, inner thigh and groin on the right side. But still working on releasing the back, the upper back. Go ahead and take your hands towards the corner and the front of the mat. So this right hand is going to reach towards the corner, this left hand a little bit more out to the side, and begin to find a stretch here. Maybe you drop to your forearm on that back arm. Maybe you spider walk your hands a little bit further forward on the right. Again, be intentional about where the head is. What provides the best neck and shoulder stretch for you here? I invite you to stay here for one more breath. As you're ready, bring your hands back. Slowly come back to center. Go ahead and toe heel that foot to the front. And bring that back leg to the front. Meet me in forward fold. Check in here. Holding onto the elbows, let the top of the head reach towards the mat. Take 2 breaths here. As you're ready, hands to shins, rise up halfway. And exhaling, come down and pressing through your feet. Come all the way up to mountain pose, palms together. And exhaling, bring hands to heart. Find your breath here for 2 breaths. I invite you to take your hands to the small of your back, draw those shoulders a little bit forward, and then rotate those shoulder blades back and around and under, and find a back bend here. Still pressing down with the feet. Can you lift the body up and out of the hips? And then deep breath in, arms rise, and exhale, forward fold. And hands to shins, rise up halfway, and exhale down, and one leg back and then the other, and meet me in plank, and come down to the mat. Find your back bend. And find your way back to downward facing dog, meeting me there. I invite you to take one more breath here. On the next inhale, left leg rises high and gaze forward. Remember, the foot's going to come to the outside of that hand. Begin to gently drop the back knee down and up. And then as you're ready, let that back knee come to the mat. Press a little bit in through the front foot. We're just going to walk our hands out to the opposite side of the mat, so that left arm reaching towards that left corner, right arm coming a little bit more out to the side, maybe dropping to the forearm, maybe not. Maybe this front arm spider walks a little further forward. And then adjust the gaze and find the stretch. As you inhale, can you push up a little bit with that serratus muscle? As you're ready, gently walk the hands back towards center. Stay here for a breath, finding the pose. And then exhaling, bring that foot back towards center. Raise the back leg up. Bring the back foot to the front. Find forward fold with me. Let the back of the head come to the mat and shake it out. No and yes. And hands to shins, rise up halfway and exhale down and come all the way up to mountain. And as you inhale, breathe. Push those arms up, extended mountain, and exhale. Bring the hands out to the side. I invite you to roll the shoulders a little bit forward and then draw them back and open up and find your back bend here. And if you'd like to press down on that sacrum underneath in the small of the back, that is certainly an option for you. And rise up, hands to heart. And we're going to stay here with the right foot. Can you bring that left foot back to warrior one stance? Deep breath in, arms rise. So that back foot is towards the back edge of the mat. It is angled forward, so the hips are generally facing forward. That front knee over the ankle. I invite you to take the hands out to the side and find eagle arm. So that right arm will come underneath the left. Find an eagle today and embrace. The elbows rise, the forearms come away, the shoulders drop. The strength of community, the strength of family and support. Exhaling, bow down, draw the belly in. Inhaling, rise and open up as you find your back bend. And two more here, and if the bowing doesn't work for you, you can just stay in warrior one with eagle arms. As you're ready, settle here, find your breath. Deep breath in, arms rise, and then exhaling, bring those hands behind. So again, there's that rotation of the shoulder blades as they come back, as the fingers interlace. I invite you to come into humble warrior, just reaching the body as far forward as you can. Let the head slowly drop as the arms rise towards the sky. And just find what works for you. Listen to your body. No judgment. Just acknowledge where you are today and work with it. Exhaling, engage the abdominals. Slowly bring those arms down and rise. Hands to heart, bring the back foot up to meet the front. Stay here in mountain for 2 breaths, just checking in, noticing right side compared to left. Is there a difference? How are the feet connected? How does the body feel? Ankle to knee and knee to hip, right side to left. Hip to shoulder, shoulder to ear. Deep breath in, arms rise. And exhaling, draw the belly in, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down, meet me in plank. From plank, come all the way down to the mat. Find your back bend here, wherever it is. And find your way back to downward facing dog. Stay here for a few breaths. Notice the right side compared to the left. Is one foot maybe a little bit lower or flatter? Is there a difference in sensation in the legs? Does one side of the body feel a little longer? One more breath here. Drawing the gaze forward, bring the feet in between the hands. Hands to shins. Rise up halfway. Exhale into your forward fold. Push down with the feet as you rise into that extended mountain. Exhale, hands out to the side. Again, just roll the shoulders forward a little bit. Draw them back. Find the back bend here. Deep breath in, arms rise. Exhaling, hands to heart. Stepping into the left foot, right leg comes back to warrior one. So just float it back, land it wide, angled a little bit forward, front knee over the ankle, arms rise. Check in, notice how the warrior feels on this side, and then hands out to the side, left arm comes underneath right. Again, finding this hug. Elbows rise, forearms away from the face. Embracing family, whatever that looks like. Stay here for a couple more breaths. And then if you choose to, add the bow, drawing the belly in, bowing forward. Inhaling, rising. 2 more times here. As you're ready, release, unwind, bring the arms all the way up again. Exhaling, bring the hands down, rotate the thumbs down and out, rotate the shoulder blades back. Maybe you interlace the fingers awkwardly, maybe hands are still at the small of the back. Find your humble warrior as you hinge forward at the hips and the arms rise high, head drops. And shake your head out, no and yes. I invite you to stay here for another 2 breaths. And as you're ready, exhaling, unwind those arms. Bring those hands to either side of the foot. Bring the back foot to the front. Meet me in that forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down, come all the way up to that extended mountain. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Check in again, just noticing. Think about the way that the neck, shoulders, upper back, and chest felt when you started your practice today. What new sensations do you notice? Deep breath in, arms rise. Exhaling, find your forward fold. Invite you to stay here in forward fold and gently just bring the hands one side of the heel or to one heel and then around to the other. Let the upper body move a little bit here. And then as you're ready, settle into your forward fold here. And as gravity draws the top of the head towards the mat, you'll feel the back lengthen, a little more space in the vertebrae. Again, those shoulder blades gliding. Hands to shins, rise up halfway, and exhaling, come down and one leg back and then the other, and meet me in plank. And from plank, I invite you to come to the mat, child to table twice. The second time, stay in your child's pose. Forehead to the mat, begin to find child here, just rotating, massaging the forehead from side to side. Massaging the forehead, taking the skin from the top of the forehead down towards the nose, back and forth here. And find your breath. I invite you today to maybe take your hands behind you, palms towards your feet. And as you curl up into this ball and as you breathe expansively, who are the people in your life who have held you when you needed it most? As you're ready, one hand to the floor and then the other underneath the shoulder. Gently rise up to sitting. Bring the feet forward and take them a little bit wide and side to side. Massage out the glutes. Gentle lower body twist, releasing tension in the lower back. And then as you're ready, walk those feet to hip width apart. Come down onto the mat, onto your back, knees bent. Arms out to the side. Go ahead and bring the knees up, shins parallel to the floor, and engage the abdominals as you come down about 2/3 of the way in one direction and up and over, and 2/3 of the way in the other. Back and forth here. As you're ready, bring your knees over to the side, take them to the right maybe, and bring both arms over to the side and hands together. So head is down. Go ahead and create a little more distance, shoulder to ear if you need to. Maybe also supporting the head on a block if that's better for you. Again, isolating the scapula, the shoulder blade on the left, gently bring that left hand over the right, back and forth here a few times. So it's just the shoulder blade. And notice, does the whole body move with this? Maybe it does because that shoulder blade is a little bit stuck. Maybe it really is just that shoulder blade that's moving. And then as you're ready, bring the hand, across that lower forearm, across the upper arm, across the chest and out. Find a twist. Let the gaze go to that hand. And then inhale and come up and over and across and reach. And find the twist again. And one more time. And this time I invite you to stay in the twist. So today, particularly thinking about this neck and shoulder release, so sure, the twist is going to affect the back and the hips, but can you bring the shoulder blades to the floor? If you have really tight shoulders, maybe that extended arm needs to be supported. And maybe there's a block underneath the arm or the arms. I invite you to take another 2 breaths here, softening across the chest, letting the shoulder blades get heavy on the mat. Can you create a sensation of melting with that exhale? As you're ready, gently draw the belly in, come back to center. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Notice how the body is settled onto the mat. Gently give yourself a hug as the knees come in, arms wrap around the legs, rock side to side. And then as you're ready, hands out to the side, roll to the other side. So now you're twisting to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. So this right arm is going to come up and over. It's going to go over that left. And again, can you just move the shoulder blade back and forth? Maybe the whole body moves. Maybe it's different on this side than it was on the other side. And then as you're ready, reach, reach, reach forward. And then bring that arm over the forearm, the bicep, the chest, and all the way out. And then deep breath in, sweep that arm up and over. Again, over the forearm, the bicep, the chest. One more time. As you're ready, shoulder blades come to the mat. Gaze maybe away from the knees. Again, checking in. Chest, back, shoulder blades, neck. Where is there still tension? Can you begin to melt into that? I invite you to stay here for 2 more breaths. As you're ready, engage the abdominals, come up to center and gently draw the knees in. Go ahead and rock side to side. Gently bring the feet to the mat. Again, just check in. Notice how the body has responded to that twisting sequence. How is the back settled onto the mat? And as you're ready, hands to knees, gently draw the knees into the rib cage and away, back and forth here. Gently bring the feet to the mat, extend the legs long, arms down to the side. And windshield wiper the feet and bounce the knees and turn your head side to side. As you settle into Shavasana today, I invite you to once again consider, who is your family? Who has Jesus provided for you to love and to be loved by? I invite you to stay here a little longer if you can. If you need to move on with your day, begin to bring movement back, wiggling fingers and toes, rotating your head side to side. On the next inhale, bring arms up and overhead and stretch as long as you can. Fingers to one wall, toes to the other. And as you're ready, gently draw the knees in and roll over onto your side and find your breath. Again, just checking in, noticing what has changed today, body, mind, and spirit. I invite you to press into your hands and to come up to a sitting position and find your sitting bones and cross your legs in front of you. And taking a deep breath in, draw the arms up, and today come into cactus arms. Just remember where you were today when we did this at the very beginning of your practice. What do you notice now? No judgment. Deep breath in, arms rise, palms together, exhaling, hands to heart. Bowing your head, joining me in prayer. Father, we are so grateful for the family that you have provided us with. Those people throughout the years who have seen us at our most vulnerable, at our messiest. Those people who have loved us without judgment. And we thank you for those people who you have gifted us to love. Those people that we have been invited to pour into. Lord, as we leave the mat today, may your love abound in our lives and in our family. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for practicing with me today.